kept you waiting, huh?
But you know who else has kept us waiting? Bugs. Despite being in the first set, ever, the actual release schedule of bug cards at Vanguard has been quite questionable actually. But now with Vanguard DZ Set 1 Fated Clash, we finally have a bug deck in Standard, Lascaria Veleno. Ditching the normal paralyze mechanics, Lascaria Veleno actually focuses on blitz orders. Her key ability is that at the end of the battle that your opponent attacked, so long as the attack didn't hit and you played a blitz order for that attack, you get to draw a card and, up to once per turn, countercharge 1. Moving on, she works extremely well with the new Grade 2 Blitz order, Effervescent Shadow Dreamblade, which can be paid with Energy Blast 2 and acts as a 20k shield, and on top of that allows you to play an additional Blitz order for this turn. Beyond this, the deck is supported by the Veleno archetype, Lascaria's crime boss family that she supports and is supported by. Her continuous ability makes it so that if you have 3 or more Velenos on the field, all your units with Veleno get 5000 power, and if you have 5 or more and your opponent's at Grade 3 or greater, she gets an extra critical. Aeriphis is able to counterblast 1 and restand itself at the end of the battle that your Vanguard attacked, and if you have 3 or more Velenos, gets 5k. Meliel, on call, allows you to discard a card and resurrect a different unit from drop, or add it to hand if it's a Blitz order. And finally, Fiore, on call, lets you counterblast 1 to check top 5 for a Veleno or Blitz order and add it to hand. To help me test out this new deck, I invited my good friend Resident Bug, or Ron, to play his heart out while I played Overlord to just give him a kind of training dummy to test against. Here are our deck lists, and let's get into the game. So you might have noticed in the previous shot that my Overlord deck is kind of weird. I am using a lot of cards with on-discard effects just to try and mess around with the idea of, well, doing that with Overlord. This game is also the first time I ever played Overlord in Standard, so would I play it again? I don't know. Into the actual game though, Ron is riding onto Grade 2 and with its effect searching his deck for a Grade 2 Blitz order and adding it to hand. Obviously going with Dreamblade. As in general, it's just too good for the deck.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
So good.
Aw, piss. Wait, no! No, wait!
No, wait!
I don't get to counterblast 1 and search my deck for up to 1 Grade 1 card, reveal it and put it into my hand and shuffle my deck.
That's so sad.
That is really sad, actually. I wanted to do that.
Lobotomy over trigger.
Lobotomy over trigger. So, you know, always good when you miss out on your Grade 1 in your ride deck, but at least I'm 1 card away from decking out. But moving on, Ron is riding to Grade 3, which means he'll be using his Grade 2 to check top 5 for a Veleno or Blitz order to add to hand. Immediately, you can see that this deck just refunds a lot of itself very easily. Cards that search for other cards, or just your ride deck replacing both your ride costs. Plus, Lascaria herself being able to draw whenever your attack doesn't hit just adds on top of that with the kind of sustainability she has. Right now though, Ron luckily doesn't hit any triggers, and I am taking 2 damage, but luckily the second was a heal, so I'm alright for now. On to my turn, I'll finally be able to use Nahalim's skill to call himself to rear, so I at least get something out of my ride deck, and I'm also using the Recycling Triple Rare to Soul Blast 1, put him on bottom of deck, and then draw a card to replace him. Nahalim on rearguard is going to allow me to Soul Blast 1 and give himself, as well as my Overlord Vanguard 5k. Though of course, to save time in the video, I did cut a lot out, just kinda adding power and searching stuff just to make it go by faster. Oh, before I do my stuff, I'm gonna remember to Energy Blast 7 and draw 1.
Real, that's fair.
Okay, thank you. Right here, right now, I'm building up my hand a bit, but so is Ron, because this attack didn't hit, so Lascaria's skill is going to activate, countercharging because he hasn't countercharged once before this turn, and also drawing a card. I, on the other hand, will be counterblasting 1 and discarding 2 cards to restand Overlord, but with Halbei's effect, they'll be called to the rearguard and counting as 2 sacrifices. Onto the second attack, it's only 1 drive check, and I do get a front trigger, which will definitely help out because Ron just gets a critical here. Thing is though, despite this big number, that critical is really gonna help, because Ron played Dreamblade earlier, so he gets to play an additional Blitz order, and in this case this will be enough to guard, and then draw him a card at the end of battle. In the next turn, not a ton happens, but Ron does Persona Ride and then starts to build up a bit of a field, calling Meliel and using her skill to discard 1 and call Aeriphis from drop, and with Lascaria's skill, all of them have 5000 power thanks to there just being 3 or more Velenos. Aeriphis restands after Lascaria attacks, and now I'm just losing my rear guards.
I hope you don't hear the train past turn.
The train?
Oh, you don't hear the train? Cool.
I do
I live
not.
nearby the train tracks, and it just goes by.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Freddy Fazbear, the train drives by every now and again. It's just like or.
There's actually a bunch of trains not too far from where I live, So sometimes at night, or just like randomly throughout the day, you'll just hear like trains blowing their whistles from like a couple kilometers away.
Yeah.
It's super nice when I'm just like smoking on the front porch and I'll just hear them.
Right? You're like, that's the peaceful sound of knowing humans still exist.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On my turn, I Persona Ride and finally set up some stuff of my own, calling Burning Horn Dragon and using its skill to check top 7, and I add the original Overlord to hand, which I'll be using with Ardor Hatchet Dragon to keep my drive checks when Overlord restands. Basically just calling the original, retiring it to call Ardor Hatchet, and then with its skill, retiring itself to put Overlord from drop into Soul, which will then allow the end to keep its drive checks when it restands. Beyond that, I've also used Nahalim's skill to give itself and Vanguard 5k. In the first attack, I drive check a Halb, as well as a critical trigger, so that's an extra damage on Van, and the power's going to Burning Horn. Burning Horn also has the effect where whenever my Overlord Vanguard attacks, he gets 5k, so that'll be an extra 10k every turn regardless. And now I finally get to use some of my cards with effects when discarding. Halb will count as 2, but I can still discard it and another card, so I'm going to use the other one to put it into Soul and give 5k to someone. Wait, did I do that?
No, you did. You just haven't stood your Vanguard yet.
Oh, okay. I saw 3 face down damage. It's like, wait, did I mess up? Or else did I counterblast? Okay, attacking and Burning Horn gets another 5k. 46, 2 checks. Ron isn't taking any risks for a potential overtrigger and just decides to perfect guard this. I don't actually get any triggers on my second drive check, but the second attack is coming in for 33, though Ron is going to guard it with another Dream Blade. And that's a Blitz order, and the attack didn't hit, so that's another countercharge and draw for him. My fourth and biggest attack is coming in, but Ron has another Blitz order, so that's going to get guarded, and it's not even going to take up a card in his hand. By now you should be seeing Lascaria and saying, wow, this works. This actually kind of works. Not only has his defensive plays been netting him a ton of value, but now he's building up a field with a bunch of Velenos, so they're all gonna get 5k and Vanguard's getting another crit. Which is helpful because he didn't get his Persona Ride this turn. As for the offensive plays of Lascaria, there's not a ton going on. Everything has gotten 5k, so Lascaria herself is going to be attacking for quite a bit, but I am going to be perfect guarding that just to make sure that I don't take any risks or, like, go to 6 damage for no reason. I have plenty to discard, so nothing too much here is very much of a threat. Though granted, this twin drive is pretty awesome. The front trigger makes up for the Persona Ride numbers, and the extra critical is going to make Airfist a much bigger attack, especially because he's going to restand and get 5k right now. Moving on, my Burning Horn Dragon gets harassed a little bit, though I'll be guarding to stop that. Airfist is swinging in now, and I decide to use some triggers to save a perfect guard, so it works out nicely. And on to my next turn, I'm not really making any big plays either. I have Persona Road and I have the Halby in hand to discard 2, but not much else going on. Soul Blast 1 for Nahalim. I think that's fine actually. Leave it like that. And then 41 to Van and 5k to Ron once again goes on the tried and true Dream Blade to guard this attack, and at the end of the battle hopefully draw a card and countercharge, and I get a heal trigger, so I'm only making this game last longer. I sadly don't get a second trigger, so the attack isn't going to hit, and Ron is going to be drawing a card, though thanks to Halby, I'll be getting another body on the field. And on top of that, I'm attacking again with Vanguard with 2 checks. It'll get met with an overtrigger to guard, so that's kinda nice that it's out, and right now I will be getting a front trigger, so hey, with numbers like these I gotta be chunking through some hand right now. Which I kinda really have to. I only have so many Persona Rides in my deck and only so many triggers, so I gotta win at some point. I say that, but I don't gotta win, I want to. That is kind of the strategy of every deck ever. You gotta win at some point.
To my hand. For next turn.
Unironically, I do think this game is going until deck out.
It might get pretty close, yeah.
I've never played Overlord before, so I didn't realize how this deck just amasses hand constantly. Ron is making use of generic Stoicheia staples to resurrect another Melial and use its effect to discard a card and add a Blitz order from drop to hand, so the constant stream of bullshit does not end. Onto the attacks, Ron still doesn't have a Persona Ride, so all the early attacks are pretty low, and I make a point of guarding them. This will soon become a mistake. because Lascaria has an extra critical, I make sure to guard this because I don't want to lose. In a no guard, this would only take 1 extra critical, and I would have lost right there, and luckily Ron doesn't get anything. At the end of the battle, Airfist restands, and the math starts coming together, because I see the first attack here go to my rear guard, and I know I have 1 more.
With a whopping 38 over here at Nahalem.
No, wait, I need countercharge.
No. Turn.
Alright. This is looking like a good game, folks.
This is looking like a silly game, folks.
I figure this game is more silly than good, but Lascaria is holding its own very well versus Overlord, so honestly, makes for a good showcase of just what the deck can do. I don't exactly have plays here, so the most I can really do is just attack with Vanguard so that my Burning Horn Dragons can get 5k each. Of course, I don't have my Overtrigger in my deck anymore, because that got lost immediately, so Ron is able to guard without a Perfect Guard, and of course in this case with the Blitz Order, and that didn't attack, so that's an extra card for him. My attack's coming in at 33, so it will eat up a bit of shield and an intercept, but that is just about it. The next attack is coming in for 33, but with the Jewel Beast effect and removing 2 right deck cards, it becomes a 20k shield, so just 1 more of those without even using the effect, and that's enough to guard. Looking at my hand right now, I'm pretty grateful that I can take 2 damage and want to because Ron is just Persona Road. He's also using some Velenos to add a Blitz Order to hand, and now all of them have an extra 5k. His deck is finally hitting the big numbers that he wants in his Persona Ride turns, and I'm just gonna have to survive it. Let's Perfect Guard that.
That's fair. Check 1, critical. I'll put all effects to this little goober. Second check, heal out of this little goober, and heal the order out of my damage zone. Using that goober's ability, Counterblast, restand, 5k power. I will then swing 38,000 here at Burning Horn Dragon.
I can't afford to guard that.
I just hate that Burning Horn Dragon so much.
God damn, my field was so symmetrical.
68,000 at the Vanguard with a crit.
68?
68.
Oh wait, I can guard this. I have just enough. 63, 68, 73.
Bro, let's go. Pass turn.
Stand and draw. Now I just need to get through your 7 fucking Blitz Orders.
No, there's no Blitz Orders.
And I've also forgotten to Energy Blast 7 to draw again.
It's fine.
Thank you.
You're gonna deck out a few energy.
I am about to. That energy that we've been using is part of the new mechanic in Divines where once you ride to grade 1 you get the Energy Maker crest, and then at the start of your turn you get 3 energy, and once you get it, if you win second you get 3 energy immediately, up to a max of 10. It on its own has the ability to pay 7 to draw 1, and other cards will just require it for costs, just like how Ron's main Blitz Order allows him to pay 2 to use it. Getting back into the game, I've just been doing Overlord stuff, and Ron has forgotten to draw a card when I attacked my Vanguard for the first time. I get a draw trigger, so really not helping. Right now, the odds of me winning are increasingly dwindling because I still need to deal 2 damage, and I have 2 cards in deck. I only have to win next turn without attacking with my Vanguard.
So true.
And also not taking a damage this turn. This is Lascaria's last attacks, and it's all pretty big. The Persona Ride definitely helped out here, and even with the lack of good triggers, I think Lascaria has proven itself well enough. This is a deck that so far has been able to deal with some pretty constant pressure, and has ultimately been able to deal some pressure right back.
Gain 10k, 45,000 at your Vanguard.
Okay, I can actually guard this. Gets 5. And
Ooh.
Guard with Ardor Hatchet gets 5 because I have an Overlorded Soul.
Ooh.
Alright. I only need to win this turn. Hey, sick. Burning Horns.
Oh, true.
Okay. 21 ban.
Alright, so here's the funny thing.
Here's a good idea, actually. I'm going to attack with Vanguards that Burning Horn gets 5k. So that he can hopefully clinch the game.
Yeah, go for it.
thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please do consider liking and subscribing, because it does help out a ton. I have more ideas for content that will hopefully be coming out soon, so please do look forward to that. And for a bit of an update, I went and bought a new microphone. It's a HyperX Solocast, and so far I am loving it. So hopefully it sounds good on you guys' end, because it's been way too long. It's about time that I upgrade some equipment, so here's the first real major step. In the description I also have a link to my Twitter, so please do follow me there if you'd like to see me more, and have a great day.